everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 20 gameplay video. Today we just got a bunch of random gameplay observations, things that I've noticed over the last couple days when the beta went live. I've been playing it, I've had a notepad next to me, and I've just been writing random things down that I want to talk about. And you guys feel free to join the discussion that I'm having in this video. If there's anything you agree with, disagree with, things that you've noticed, feel free to let me know. And make sure that you're leaving this feedback. Again, down below in the comment section, there will be a pinned comment with the link to the user voice forums where you can leave feedback for the EA developers on the Madden 20 beta. If there's things you like, things you dislike, make sure to leave your feedback because it is really important to try to make this game better and maybe the best Madden that we've seen in a while. Yesterday we dropped a video that pretty much talked in length about the pass rush versus the throwing motion in Madden 20. It's the biggest topic. And I'm not going to lie, I was very proud of the comment section. A lot of people are okay with the pass rush staying the way it is, and I agree with all of you. I am happy with it. I think the QB windup needs to be fixed a little bit. The ball needs to come out just a little bit faster, not on the deep throws downfield, but really just like short drags that are a couple yards past the line of scrimmage. Those shouldn't take so long to get rid of, and I think that's what's hurting the passing game a little bit. But all in all, I agree with the comment section. I read through pretty much all of it, and I was really shocked that a lot of you guys are okay with the pass rush, and I feel the same way. So let's get down my list. I think I have maybe 10 to 15 things to talk about. Tackling is the first one here. And again, let me know if you guys agree or disagree on some of these things, but I've noticed that just a lot of times your player, your defender, will make contact with a ball carrier, and it's mostly on passing plays, and then there's just no animation. They just kind of become two stick figures who bump shoulders, and usually the offensive side of the ball wins there. So that's a little frustrating. There's just no tackle animation that's happening. Even if you try to click on quickly, the computer should be able to take care of that for you. Moving on, the slim play call screen, which happens by default. Of course, you can always change it, and you kind of want to do that if you're in the beginning of the game, especially when the retail game comes out. I don't know about you, but the slim play call screen, I'm not happy with it. I don't like it at all. Maybe it's just me not being able to adjust, but I'm going to stick with the classic, the expanded plays call screen. Are you guys in favor of the slim one? Yes or no? Halfback wham. I only ran it maybe 2 times, but it feels like it's probably going to be totally dead this year. The blocking animation on it, the motion animation on halfback wham, which has always made it so powerful, is even more slow. They kind of nerfed it a little bit last year, but it was still slightly effective. This year, I just think it's going to be way too easy. With the way you can get pressure in the backfield, it'll be way too easy to stop. So I think that's a good thing, because halfback wham has kind of been a pain point for the last 2 years. Let me know if you had the similar experiences, if you run that play. I gave it a try on the goal line a couple times, and it just didn't work for me. Jet sweeps, some of the new plays, the new handoffs, new toss plays, I think are going to be pretty glitchy because of the running animation and how smooth it runs. If you match up against somebody with really good stick skills, jet sweeps with guys like Tyreek Hill could probably be kind of glitchy, and you mix those in with the RPOs, I think we're going to see some really fast football. I like it though. I think it's something that maybe just your average user isn't going to be able to take advantage of. But I also worry about, later on in the year when we're talking about out of position cards, people putting wide receivers, tight ends as wide receivers, offensive linemen as tight ends, and then running those jet sweeps. If you get a couple good blocks with the running animations and how smooth it is, you make one cut and you're gone. So jet sweeps, I think later on in the MUT year is something to worry about. Now, we did talk about yesterday and briefly in this video just pass rush and putting pressure on the quarterback. I will say that I really like the fact that if you get up in a if you get up in a quarterback's face with a defender, defensive lineman, defensive end, it shows you, there's text on the screen that tells you what the pressure was like and if it causes an inaccurate throw. And I've noticed a lot of times you know, if you get up in Brady's face, they're going to make bad throws, and I like that. I don't think you're going to see any more people dropping back 20 yards to then throw a dime 40 yards downfield. I think the pressure is really going to affect the accuracy of quarterbacks, and I'm cool with that. Also think that the throw under pressure rating is going to play a huge part, again, especially in MUT. So that's something when you're deciding on your quarterback. I think throwing motion is going to be very important. A guy like Aaron Rodgers who can get the ball out quicker if they don't patch that, you know, the throwing motion. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a great MUT quarterback, and I think guys who have high throw under pressure ratings are going to probably be more successful as well, because from what I can tell so far, it's just regs, but I think getting up in the quarterback's face you know, is going to be very important, not only to try to get the sack, but just to force a bad throw. One thing that I think on offense you're going to see kind of return to popularity, and it was like this for a few years in a row back in like the Madden 25, the 16-17 days, is tight end streaks with like a pass lead to the inside. I noticed a lot of times, and maybe it's because zones aren't as polished as they could be, but I noticed a lot of times when I was just overly committing to trying to guard a crossing route or maybe cross manning with my safeties, tight end streaks just, you know, zip down the field, and coverage kind of forgot about them. Now, if it's up to you as a user or up to me as a user to cover that, you have to keep in mind that lurking with linebackers is a little bit more difficult, and I think that's why you're going to see tight end streaks and just overall tight ends be very effective this year in the passing game. I have this on my list later on down in the video, but I think it's critical in regs, in MUT, and salary cap, in any game mode, that you're probably going to have to move a safety into linebacker position just because of the way usering is working. You know, you're not going to be able to just get all these crazy jumping animations and lurk people who are 15 yards separated from you down the field. So I think that's going to play to the advantage of the tight ends, and I think you're really going to have to put safeties in at linebacker to try to counteract that, to keep up with some of their speed as well, and just get those user pick animations. Squib kicks is one that I actually left feedback on those user voice forms. I think it has like 7 upvotes, so some people have caught on to it as well as me. But it seems like no matter what power you use on a squib kick, it just kicks it directly to, I think, a fullback. So it just kind of defeats the purpose of a squib kick. You're not going to be threatened with giving up, you know, a big kick return in most cases, but, you know, a squib kick is supposed to hit the ground, bounce a couple times, make it difficult for any type of receiver or anybody to try to return it. And again, I tried various power difficulties, and it just always kicked it directly to a player. So if you guys could test that one out for me, if you get a chance tonight before the beta ends at midnight, feel free to do so and go on that user voice. I think if you just search squib, it'll probably come up, and be sure to upvote that one. Click-ons on defense, really liking them. Sometimes you click onto a safety and they kind of still stay behind the receiver, and maybe that's just, you know, an optical illusion where I think I can make the play and then I'm not able to because I mistimed it or just misjudged it. But a lot of times I've clicked onto a safety or a cornerback and it just feels much more smooth. I think that, you know, plays into a part with just all the player motion in general feeling smoother this year in the running game and whatnot. But it just feels like clicking on and kind of taking over that AI responsibility to try to make a play, get an interception. It just feels better than it has for most years. So click-ons get a thumbs up for me. Speaking of defense and interceptions, how do you guys feel about dropped interceptions? I had one situation yesterday where Brady threw it right to my defender and it hit him right in the hands and he dropped it, and that, I'm not going to lie, that one frustrated me just a little bit. So I see that in the forums, in the user voice, dropped interceptions on competitive mode is one of the most upvoted ones. I think that's something that's going to stand out to everybody. They're always going to remember dropped interceptions when they happen to them. But I agree, in a competitive game mode, if you make a bad read and throw it directly to my defender and there's not somebody within a yard or two to even break it up or breathe on the defender, they need to catch that. I don't care what their catch rating is, they should catch that football. It's a competitive game mode. Now, yes, I get it. Sometimes in real life, people do drop interceptions that are thrown right to him, and then the commentator says that's why he's a defensive back and not a wide receiver. I get it. But at the same time, this is in a competitive game mode. I want to see people punished for their bad reads, their bad decisions. So hopefully drop picks gets tuned a little bit, because I personally think it should be. Let's talk about not wide receivers, halfbacks and route running. Alvin Kamara is a goon in this game. I'm really excited to play Mutt. Being primarily a Mutt guy and just playing regs, it's like this is fun and all, but I can't wait to personalize my Mutt team this year with, you know, the play style that seems to be working. Alvin Kamara with whatever his X Factor ability is, it's the one where linebackers can't cover him, and then the other one where he's really, really, really good after like catching the ball out of the backfield. I can't tell you how many like 60, 70 yard catch and runs that I have with Kamara. Both flat routes and the Texas route. The Texas route is really good, and he has that X factor where basically it's like route chem for a running back. You can send him on a flat anytime you want a Texas route. I think there's a block and release. Texas routes are something that I think are going to be a pain point, because you can kind of mix that. It's almost like a glorified crosser for a halfback, but if you got, you know, your running back's on the left side of the field, he starts off going left, cuts right, and then you got a crosser going from your right screen to the left screen. You can't use both of those routes, so I could see where that's going to be a pain point. That's something really, really to watch out for. But I think receiving backs, for people who might not like to run a lot, like myself, I think receiving backs are going to play a large part in Madden, especially Madden Ultimate Team gameplay this year. QB fumbles, I haven't experienced this yet, but I kind of notated this because a lot of people are talking about it. Apparently on QB designed run plays, the rate at which those quarterbacks are fumbling is very high. So it kind of defeats the purpose of RPOs when you have a guy like Lamar Jackson or Cam Newton, where, you know, they're tougher guys who aren't going to fumble as much. I'm not sure how EA can kind of judge that, just other than maybe putting an ability on it, but I don't think they're going to be in the business of making new X Factor abilities. I think Cam has one specialized for running, but it still doesn't seem to be playing a part. So QB fumbles, seeing a lot of people complain about fumbles in general. I think I've had one or two, but it hasn't been enough to really bother me yet. But you guys let me know how you feel about fumbles. But I think on QB specific designed run plays, whether it's a QB draw or something, RPO style, they're probably going to have to tone down the amount of fumbling that it's happening, because some people are saying it's happening at like 100% rate, which is troubling. Zones in general, I think deep blues play fine. I think flat zones are kind of horrendous right now. It just feels like somebody could run double drags and I could have two hard flats and there's still nowhere to be found. It also just has that same problem where you know, you could have a defender in a certain zone, and because no offensive player is in his zone, he just stands there and stares at space when, you know, maybe 3-4 yards behind him there's a receiver. I would like to see the AI adapt to that and go play coverage there. So zones still have some tweaking to do, but I think I've said this. I think I said this after EA Play. If zones are not going to be great, it's going to be up to the pass rush, and I think that's going to be the thing. Is you're either going to have to just use or cover as long as you can and hope the pass rush gets home, or if they tweak the zones and make them better, then the pass rush is going to need to be nerfed, or it's going to be really tough to move the ball in general. But I think right now flat zones, yellow zones don't play very well. Deep blues and purples play okay for me. I think the quick passing game is going to be the meta and most effective stuff early on in the year. And then last is the whole no huddle walking up to the line thing. I'm cool with the walking up to the line. I still feel like on defense I've always had enough time to make my adjustments. Not having to base a line every play is key right now. It's really helpful with that coaching adjustment change. I think the no huddle is maybe the one that they need to just take out of the game. Not saying not to be able to no huddle, but the whole no huddle and boom, you're right at the line of scrimmage. I think that really plays advantage to the offense, and the defense has no time. They can get quick snapped very, very easily. So either they need to just get rid of that and make no huddle like it used to be, or they need to severely penalize offense when they no huddle maybe more than one play in a row as far as fatigue goes. So like one no huddle play is okay, but then if you do it right away the next time, I would really like to see a huge difference in your stamina and make those offensive players a lot more fatigued so they're a little bit more slower. I think that would be the best way to balance it. So I think that's all I got for now. We're gonna lock in and probably play some more games later today, and we'll be hitting you off with more videos just discussing gameplay. But if there's any topics or things I didn't cover that you want me to, or you just want to bring up yourself, leave it down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Popular Stranger, and I'm out. Peace.